Rwanda, a nation of breathtaking beauty and rich culture, became the stage for one of the most horrific genocides in history. In just 100 days, nearly 800,000 people were brutally murdered. This is the story of how ethnic tension, colonial legacies, and global indifference led to one of humanity's darkest chapters. To understand the 1994 genocide, we must first look back at Rwanda's complex history. Rwanda was once part of German East Africa before becoming a Belgian trusteeship. After World War I, the Belgians, much like other colonial powers, implemented a divide-and-rule strategy. They favored the minority Tutsi over the majority Hutu, deepening existing ethnic divisions. This favoritism planted the seeds of resentment that would later explode into violence. The situation reached a boiling point in 1959 with the Hutu Revolution. Hundreds of thousands of Tutsis fled Rwanda, turning an already small minority into an even smaller one. By 1962, Rwanda gained independence, and the Hutu majority took control, forcing the Tutsi monarchy into exile. In 1973, Major General Juvenal Habyarimana, a moderate Hutu, seized power and ruled Rwanda with an iron fist for the next 2 decades. His regime continued the ethnic discrimination but also brought some stability until the early 1990s. The 1990 invasion of Rwanda by the Rwandese Patriotic Front (RPF), a group of mostly Tutsi exiles from Uganda, reignited ethnic tensions. Habyarimana's government accused Tutsi civilians of being collaborators, leading to widespread arrests and massacres. Between 1990 and 1993, hundreds of Tutsis were killed in government-orchestrated violence. A fragile ceasefire led to the Arusha Peace Accords in 1993, a power-sharing agreement that aimed to end the conflict. However, Hutu extremists, enraged by the idea of sharing power with the Tutsi, began plotting to prevent this from happening. On April 6, 1994, the unthinkable happened. The plane-carrying president, Habyarimana, was shot down, killing him and the president of Burundi. To this day, the perpetrators remain unidentified, but what followed was a descent into madness. Within an hour of the plane crash, the genocide began. Hutu militias, known as the Interahamwe and Impuzamugambi, alongside government forces, set up roadblocks and began slaughtering Tutsis and moderate Hutus. The violence was swift, organized, and shockingly brutal. Among the first to be killed was Prime Minister Agathon Uwilingiyimana, a moderate Hutu, along with 10 Belgian peacekeepers. This attack led to the withdrawal of Belgian troops, leaving the country even more vulnerable. The genocide spread like wildfire, encouraged by extremist radio broadcasts. Ordinary Rwandans turned on their neighbors. The killing wasn't random, it was systematic. Officials offered killers food, drink, and even money to fuel the massacre. By the end of 100 days, nearly 800,000 people were dead. The genocide unfolded. The world watched in horror but did little to intervene. The United Nations had a small peacekeeping force in Rwanda, but after the murder of the Belgian peacekeepers, most troops were withdrawn. The remaining soldiers were ordered to only defend themselves. The international community's response was lethargic at best. A stronger UN force was eventually approved, but by the time they arrived, the genocide was over. France launched Operation Turquoise in late June, creating a humanitarian zone in southwestern Rwanda, saving many lives but also inadvertently aiding some of the genocide's architects in their escape. In the years that followed, leaders around the world admitted their failure to act. As former UN Secretary-General Boutros Boutros-Ghali put it, the failure of Rwanda is 10 times greater than the failure of Yugoslavia. It was a dark moment for the international community. By July 1994, the RPF had taken control of Rwanda, bringing an end to the genocide. However, the country was left in ruins, and nearly 2 million Hutus fled, fearing retribution. They crowded in the wake of the genocide. The world sought justice. The International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, ICTR, was established in Tanzania to prosecute those responsible for the atrocities. It was the first international tribunal since Nuremberg and the first to focus on the crime of genocide. Over the next decade and a half, the ICTR indicted and tried dozens of high-ranking officials for their roles in the genocide. While some were brought to justice, many perpetrators remained at large, their whereabouts unknown. Despite its successes, the ICTR was often criticized for its slow pace and limited scope. Today, Rwanda is a nation rebuilding itself, striving to overcome the scars of its past. Under the leadership of President Paul Kagame, the country has made significant strides in reconciliation and development. Ethnic labels have been removed from identity cards, and the focus is on unity and moving forward. The Rwandan Genocide serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of hatred and division. It challenges us to reflect on the role of the international community and the importance of early intervention in preventing such tragedies. As we remember the victims, let us also commit to ensuring that such horrors never happen again. Thank you for watching and for taking the time to learn about this critical chapter in history. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. Remember, understanding the past is the key to preventing future atrocities.